imagine that, right?
Must be Claire. The Claire side of the family.
In kind
My
services.
mother.
No tickets for anybody.
Free commercials. Alex Anna.
No pagues el ticket.
Not used to seeing Fetters without a hat and his white head.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Bain,
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Zapata,
Here.
Councilman Best,
Present.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Here.
Councilman Petralano.
Here.
We have Reverend Rulugo who's going to say the invocation. Please stand. Please stand.
Yesterday was the Mother Day. This is very important for us to say greeting to every mother here. Bless them because are very important for us, for everybody. There are 5 verses. This is the Bible, but I want to tell the mayor, thank you for inviting us. The first verse was when the Moses going with the people, Israel people. I have 2 members of my church that are looking for me. Come here, please. They help me. And she has a mother car. She's coming and forgive you, everybody. And you help me.
I'll help you.
This is Moses when they are getting to the Israel people.
Okay, it's this is during the time when the Israelites are going out of the desert, and Moses answers the people, or tells them. It's in Exodus 14, 13, 15. Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance with the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You will need only to be still." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell these Israelites to move on."
Amen.
Then the other verse is when the Lord spoke to Joshua. It's found. This verse is found in Joshua 1, chapter 1, verse 5. No one will be able to stand against you all the days of your life, as I was with Moses. So I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Then on the other one is to King David. It's Psalm 18:32. It is God that girdeth me with strength and maketh my way perfect. Then Proverbs 14:34. Righteousness exalted a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a Mother Day important yesterday. The perfect mother is in the Proverb 31, verse 25. And she is clothed with the strength and dignity. You know the verse, the passage in the Bible. And this is a perfect mother. Maybe we are not too perfect, but we are very happy with our mothers because they doing many good things for everybody. And this is important that we recognize them this day. And we have some card for give to everybody. But say, many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive, and beauty is fleeting, but the woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Honor her for all that her hand have done, and let her work bring her praise and the city gate. God bless you. Thank you, Mayor, for inviting us. Our church are very happy because you have this book in good position.
Thank you.
The privilege, the bless us, God. Okay. Heavenly Father, thank you for these people that is looking for you. Thank you for these people from Miami Springs, beautiful place. Thank you. Please bless us. Get us with your Savior hand, like to Moses. They need your Savior mind, and they need your peace and your patience. Please bless all this council with your power with your help and with your love. Bless to these people that are here tonight from this city that we everybody love. Put your peace in every heart. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Francio. My
Okay,
girl, she has a. Ya se lo dio. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you. We have
Thank
other compromise, but we will pray for you, and we will pray for our mayor and for everybody here. God
Thank
bless
you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Springview Elementary School to come up and say the pledge. My alma mater. That's where I went to school. Come on up here. Face the flag here. Is there any other young people that want to come up and say it with them? Go ahead. Come on. Come on. Okay. Hand over. Okay, you got it. Hand, right hand over your heart. Start us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I got a little something for you. Okay, is this on?
Yes.
Yeah. Last meeting, we started the pledge and we had to stop because I forgot to bring the school up to pledge. And Heidi, come help me a second. Hand these pins out for me as I go. Your name and school and where you're from.
Angelica Arce, Miami Springs Elementary.
Oh yeah, how old are you?
10.
10? You're tall. You're gonna be a model. You?
Emma Perozo, Miami Springs Elementary.
No. Don't be nervous.
Oh my God.
Don't stutter like the mayor does. Just be nice. Take it easy. Start again.
Emma Perozo, Springville Elementary, Miami Springs.
And what grade?
4th grade, I'm 10.
10. And then you're gonna go into what? Public speaking? No. It's okay.
Sophia Justo, Springville Elementary, 4th grade, and I'm 10.
You're 10? Cool. And you?
Lauren Alvarez, Springville Elementary, and I'm in 4th grade. And I'm 10 years old.
10 years old too? And you?
Ethan Fernandez, Springville Elementary, 4th grade. I'm 10 from Miami Springs.
Cool. And you?
Lucas Justo, 10. I go to Springview Elementary, and I'm in 4th grade.
Okay, that's good. Why do you do with your finger? Why do you do like that?
Yeah.
Why do you do like that?
Because it's a lot. It's more realistic.
Thank you. Thank you. Give him a little hand there for what they did. Thank you. And now we have our state representative, Brian Avilar, to present something for the senior meals. I have no idea what this is, but maybe he's coming to present something.
you can sit. Billy, announce that they can sit.
Oh, y'all can sit down now. Thank you. You have the floor.
All right.
I want everybody to take a picture with us.
Here, we'll hold.
Get in the picture behind there.
Come on,
So-
get all council here.
All right.
Good. Thank you.
Come on, let's get the council.
Well, he gets all upset because if you don't take a picture of the camera, you're not taking a picture.
Here we go, folks, right here. A couple more. Hold it. No prayers.
He's actually getting angrier. It's older. Which is
So-
incredible. Because I didn't think that was possible with him.
So this check, let me just say that State Senator Rene Garcia worked with me, day in and day out on this, as well as Jose Fuentes from Becker Springs. Really
to make this happen. This is an appropriation for the Miami Springs Senior Center. So this is in order for them to continue their supplemental meals and services program. So this certainly, I think, will be very helpful for our community, especially for our seniors. And it really was just a pleasure to work with State Senator Rene Garcia along to make this happen for our community and for the residents, and especially our seniors. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we, on behalf of the city, want to thank you for all your hard work. And while we have you here, we want you to work very hard for us to help get us some money for the new senior center. And instead of getting some things we really get, that's a nice presentation, but it would be nice to have somewhere they can sit and eat that nice food. So we would like to see you work hard.
I would be remiss if I did not say thank you, Mayor, thank you to the council, to our city manager, just to the entire city of Miami Springs for the movie night recently, which we had. All the residents that attended were absolutely thrilled with it, so I wanted to thank all of you for making that happen and working with my office as well as with Commissioner Rebecca Sosa, who, I mean, she's just done a tremendous job for our community for many years. So just wanted to thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Brian. You hear that back there, you guys back there about the community center? Yes, sir. I mean the senior center? You hear that? All right. Everybody's here heard it too. Okay, we go. Is the young people for the Oracle? Are they here? Come on up. Come on. Your name? Okay. And your name? Gretel? This is certificate of achievement presented to you for her participation in the Do Not Drink and Drive and Always Wear Your Seatbelt Miami Springs Virginia Gardens Optimist Club Oracle Contest held on the 25th, April 25th. I'm presenting this to you this day, the 14th of May, for your work on your what was it like? What?
It was a speech
Oh,
about
it was
the roots of optimism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations. This is Andrew Lazar. This is a certificate of achievement to Andrew Lazara for your participation in the Don't Drink and Drive and Always Wear Your Seatbelts, the Miami Springs and Virginia Garden Optimist Club Oracle Contest held on April 25th, 2018. I'm presenting this to you this day, the 14th day of May, 2018. And how did you do in the speech?
I think I did pretty well.
Yeah. You seem like you have a nice voice to talk.
I guess so.
Okay, very good. Congratulations. Reina Suarez. Do you want to read your speech? Because she's getting a certificate of achievement, and she earned a $1,500 scholarship for her speech. Do you want to read it? Do you think you can handle it?
I mean, I did forget it.
Then we'll let you. We won't let you talk like me. We'll just let it slide this time. But congratulations. What are you going to do with that scholarship money?
Put it towards college.
And where are you going to go?
Miami-Dade for the first year.
Miami-Dade. Well, congratulations to all of you. Come on down this side.
All three of you.
Come on. Right here.
Good. One more, please. One more, please. Thank you.
Yourself in line when you're going to talk. What's your secret? I mean, like the young man was going like this. What you have any?
I just keep talking.
You just keep talking?
About the same, but I practice.
You practice. And you? I memorize. Okay, well, I got to do some work. All right. Congratulations to all of you.
Excuse me, Mayor. If I might, for just a second.
Sure.
I had the opportunity. I was asked by the Optimist Club to act as a judge. There were 3 of us that rated these young men and women about 2 weeks ago, as the lady stated. Let me tell you what. These kids, if they pursue the art that they have at the moment in terms of forensics and debating skills and oratory, they will go far. You know, it's like being an English major. You can go to law school, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this. But if you can speak and communicate with people, you can go very far in this world, and I commend all 3 of them. They were excellent the night I was there. Thank you, guys. Thanks for being here tonight.
Okay, next up, we're going to go ahead and have the swearing in ceremony. Chief, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Today I get to do my 2 favorite things as chief of police. The first thing I'm doing, I'm swearing in 2 new officers, and later on I'll be promoting an officer. So without further ado, I'd like to call Officer Kyle Collins and Miguel Despian to the front here, please. Before I swear them in, Kyle started with us as a public service aide. And he has thanked me, I don't know how many times, for sending him to the police academy. But I have to tell you, like I told him and I told his family, he earned every bit of it. Jeff and Mrs. Collins, I apologize for not telling you this sooner, but when he graduated from the academy, several of his instructors came up to me, said, this young man carries himself like a seasoned individual. He's very respectful, very dedicated, very motivated. So, Kyle, again, congratulations. You deserve every bit of it. You earned it, okay? Keep up the good work. Mike Despian comes to us. Go ahead. You deserve it. He comes to us. He lived here in Miami Springs. His family still does. He hopes to move into the Springs again very soon. He comes to us from state law enforcement. He worked for what I used to call many years ago Marine Patrol. It's now the Freshwater Florida Fish and Wildlife, right. I got to tell Mike when he stops a car, you got to ask him for your driver's license, not the fishing license. So, but it's funny, one of the last interviews was in my office, and he was telling me how he was about to go on a cruise with his girlfriend because he was going to propose to her. Is she here? Okay. So I was very serious, and I looked him right in the eye, and I said, can you cancel the cruise? And he starts changing colors and starts to sweat a little bit, and he doesn't know what to say. I said, Mike, I'm only kidding. Take a deep breath. So, Mike, congratulations. By the way, I believe she said yes, right? Congratulations. So, would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, and state your names, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Florida against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, to uphold and enforce the laws of the United States, the State of Florida, the County of Miami-Dade, and the City of Miami Springs, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservations or purposes of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of police officer of the City of Miami Springs, acting to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
All right.
One more. And of course, I didn't mean one. Okay.
Never.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Dad.
Hey,
take a picture with him.
And I apologize. Obviously, you see Jeff, one of our motormen, is Kyle's dad. And not only is Jeff in law enforcement, but I know Jeff's mother, Kyle's grandmother, for many years. She worked at the Miami Police Department where I first started in law enforcement. So they're a law enforcement family.
Make sure you get Wally to give you the pictures. Okay? He's a hoarder. Congratulations. That's okay. My hands might be a little fishy, okay? So.
Yes.
It was PSA.
Do it in a minute. Do it in a minute. Okay. Next, I'd like to introduce, for the last time, Officer Gary Fetters. Officer Fetters is a 20-year veteran of the Miami Springs Police Department. Prior to that, he served in the United States Army. He served as an investigator in the detective squad. He's been a field training officer, training several of our newer officers, officer in charge, acting supervisor. And when we spoke in the office, he mentioned a case that he worked on that he was very proud of. One of his first assignments in the detective squad, he was given a case involving the Pilot House, a famous location on 36th Street. And with his work and with his outsourcing and connecting with Hialeah Police Department and State of Florida Division of Alcohol and Beverages, they developed a case where they were able to arrest several of the employees and shut down the place. He's very proud of that case. Gary has 3 children, his oldest serving the United States Army overseas right now, so I pray that we all ask God to bless him and protect him in his service. His 2 daughters, I believe both of them are here. His oldest daughter, who he mentioned to me, and he was very proud that his oldest daughter just got your real estate license. Congratulations, he was very proud of that. So there is no swearing in, Gary. I'm just going to present you with a certificate of promotion and your badge. Sergeant Gary Fetters.
All right, Sergeant. Does he want to say anything or introduce
I think she's going to pin the badge on him first.
Oh, okay.
His girlfriend?
Did you guys practice this?
Yes. She's got it. There you go.
There you go. All right.
Congratulations. Do you want to say anything? You don't have to if you don't want to.
No, I'm just happy to serve.
You're welcome.
Kyle, Mike, do you want to say anything? Kyle or Mike, do you guys want to say anything? You don't have to if you don't want to.
They're fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Chief.
you, Chief.
Thank you. Congratulations, all. Do good. Now we have a presentation from Christine Best about carbon monoxide awareness public schools project.
Good evening. Good evening, Council, and everyone here this evening. Thank you for being here, and congratulations to the new officers that we have. It's quite an achievement. It's not my fault, it's the microphone. So my name is this working?
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah? Okay.
You're fine.
My name is Kristen Best. I am a registered nurse at Jackson Memorial Hospital. I'm in grad school pursuing my nurse practitioner degree, and last semester I was encouraged to take on a project that included recent events in Miami Springs. My research led me here, my hometown, where I found out there is legislation in the state of Florida that currently states carbon monoxide detectors are needed in residences that have like places of dwelling where like people are sleeping. There needs to be carbon monoxide detectors at least 8 feet away or 10 feet away from a kitchen to prevent any kind of carbon monoxide Poisoning, yeah, exactly. So basically, the city of Miami Springs has 16 schools currently. 6 of them are public schools, and so those are the ones that I'm kind of targeting at the moment. The law right now in the state of Florida, it's Florida Statute 553.885. It says any new home or addition to a home permitted on or after July 1st, 2008 that has fossil fuel burning appliances or heater or fireplace or attached to garage should have a carbon monoxide alarm installed within 10 feet of each sleeping room, as I stated prior. Unfortunately, the law does not include schools. So the state law currently does not include schools. So our carbon monoxide poisoning it kills people every year, thousands of people every year, as stated by the CDC. There was a bill proposed back in 2013 by Senator Gwen Margolis. I don't know if anyone is familiar with her. And it died on the table, actually by the Education Department, which was very interesting. And it hasn't really been revisited since. And I don't know why it died. I don't know if there was not enough funding. But at this time, I really think it would be a good idea to get people enthusiastic about this once more, because as I stated, many people, there's 2,244 deaths reported between the years of 2010 and 2015 in the United States. Currently, only 5 states have this law where detectors are mandated in schools. And Rhode Island was the most recent passing of that law. So back in October here in Miami Springs, we did have a carbon monoxide leak in Miami Springs Middle School, which through my research I found out, and I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And I decided to pursue that a little further, and I was like, well, why did this happen? And there was a few comments that said, well, the state of Florida doesn't have carbon monoxide detector laws for their schools. Allegedly, 14 employees of Miami Springs Middle School were sent to the hospital because they were complaining of dizziness, nausea, fatigue, which are the mild symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning at low levels. And supposedly, students were not injured. However, no studies were done on these children, so we don't know if they were injured. There's no evidence. However, the school was evacuated. Classrooms were evacuated at that time. So in reality, the exposure to carbon, especially during developmental years, could be detrimental to brain development. There's a ton of research on this. Both long-term and short-term issues can arise. Even small amounts of exposure for long amounts of time could cause neurological injury. Basically, what I'm here today again to do is seek your approval. I plan on going to different cities, the city of Hialeah, Doral, Miami, and Miami Beach, to also seek their approval and hopefully get this bill back on the Senate floor and hopefully passed in the state of Florida. So thank you.
Thank you.
So any comments or anything?
Well, my recommendation to you,
or any recommendations,
my
please?
recommendation to you is to talk to the school board.
Okay.
Susie Castillo is our representative.
Okay.
One of us, I'm sure, will contact her and maybe look forward for you to give her a call, and maybe she could present it to who has the authority to mandate this into the schools.
Okay.
And maybe they even have, maybe Miami-Dade County board will mandate it into the schools themselves.
Right.
But I believe you can get support from all the cities to maybe make a resolution to support this. We can make a resolution to support it and get the other cities to follow us, which I have no problem doing.
Right.
But,
I know
but
many
your main objective to me is to go to the school board and talk to representatives, see where you can get from there.
Okay.
Then that's what I think.
Had
That's my opinion.
Kristen, had you not spoken to Susan Castillo's office?
I has not. I sent an email to, I believe, her secretary, but I didn't hear back. So I will pursue that a little.
Mayor, if I may.
Oh, sure.
Representative, I really have something to say, but real quick, if I may suggest, maybe you should contact also the League of Cities. They have more access to all the cities.
All right.
But Mayor, the representative have something to say.
Okay. Right. You want to talk?
Well, just wanted to say,
No, of course.
You know, we can. Just wanted to say that certainly I wasn't aware of it, but I'm glad that you brought the issue forward. Would love to work with you on it to
perfect.
see what we can do certainly in getting that bill back up and moving.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No, my pleasure, my pleasure.
I'll get your
After,
contact.
yeah.
For sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
so now you have a state
contact.
representative to help you, and he
Perfect.
can contact the people. So I think you made some headway tonight.
No, yeah,
Okay.
little nervous, but
Relax,
okay.
relax. I mean, you
Kristen?
talk to me on the streets all the time.
Kristen, I have a question.
Yeah,
Do you know
of
how much? What's the cost involved?
So
for
the
school?
cost, yeah. So the cost of a carbon monoxide detector is about $50. And if
How
we
many
get it
would
at
a school
government-
need?
It depends. I think they're, I'm not a professional. We
Guessing
would
it's
have
the
to
kitchen
Yeah,
area.
so we keep them like there would be one where every fire detector is. So in every classroom, and sometimes you can buy them. They're dual, so they're fire and carbon monoxide. And this is especially important for schools that we have in the city that also house house people for hurricanes. So there are hurricane shelters. When there's no electricity or anything, we want to make sure that there's no fire or exposure to carbon monoxide due to a gas leak from a kitchen or something like that where people are sleeping, or where the gym is converted into like a
Shelter.
a sleeping or a shelter.
Yeah, when you're
right?
burning a generator and you have the carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually Councilman
Your
Best
dad.
my dad wanted to he actually brought something to my attention that actually it's kind of beside the point, but electric cars are now causing some carbon monoxide emissions. There are some people that passed away
They're not
recently,
supposed to,
so
though.
They're not supposed to.
No. Okay. Well, thank you.
Very much.
Any other comments?
So do we need a motion in order to
Yeah, I don't.
to ask for a resolution to be proposed by the city in support of this, and if so, I'd like to make that motion that we do that, and then ask our attorney if there would be transmittal included in that resolution, so this could go out to people at the state level, or that can actually understand that we're in support of this.
Well, in consensus, do we want to go forward with the resolution?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have permission to make the resolution.
You got it.
And make sure that it gets to the other where it's supposed to go.
You got it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so
Have a
much.
good night.
Have a great
And
evening.
Thank you. Okay, we have this is open forum. We have nobody signed up to talk at open forum, so a little disappointing, but that doesn't mean
You're not
that just
signed up.
because
You're not si-
because your daughter's here and your husband's here. What
You're not-
the heck's
you're
going
not
on
signed up.
tonight?
I'm not signed up. Can I say too late?
Yeah, like,
It's
go
up to
ahead.
the mayor. The
Go ahead.
mayor's
I just
discretion.
wanted to bring something to your attention, and I don't know if you've noticed it. The Miami Springs High School, Dove Avenue, is very poorly lit as far as crossing goes. It's as you're coming from Ponciana onto Dove. It's very poorly lit in that area. There is no marked crosswalk for the children, for the kids at the school. Yet we have it on Curtis Parkway, by the golf course and opposite the schools. But this particular school, I think we may have overlooked ensuring that the walkways are identified correctly and properly lit, especially on that busy intersection.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Bobby will be home around 12.
All right. Did
I get you in trouble?
Yeah, no, never mind.
Oh, and you're going to be home by 10.
Can we continue, please?
Sure. Well, I figured this was a family affair tonight for, All right. We go to 6A. This is the minutes for April 23rd, 2018 regular meeting.
Through the chair, motion to move 6I.
Second.
Call the vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata?
Yes.
Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell?
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda?
Yes.
Mayor Bain?
Yes, reports from boards and commissions. When are we going to do the about the council meeting? Where are you going to do that? At the end of the
At
meeting?
the
or
end, during my comments, yeah.
During your comments?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Now we go to 9A. This is consent agenda, a resolution.
Yes, Mayor.
Before we get started, though, I want to pull
9B.
9B. I want to pull it to discuss it.
Okay, then we have two items remaining. These are funded and or budgeted. A is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Miami Springs, Florida, approving the issuance of a purchase order to Computer Electric, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $60,000 for citywide electric repairs, providing for authorization, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date, and this is coming out of the CITT fund. 9C, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Miami Springs, Florida, approving the purchase of police vehicles from Duval Ford, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $81,698 by utilizing Florida Association of Sheriffs contract numbers FSA 17-VEL 15.0 and FSA 17-VEL 25.0, providing for authorization, providing for implementation, and providing for an effective date.
I'll entertain a motion for consent agenda.
Through the chair, motion to move items
Second.
9A and 9C, excluding B.
I get a second?
Oh, you have it. Second.
Call a vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata?
Yes.
Councilman Bass?
Aye.
Councilman Mitchell?
Yes.
Councilman Petrolano?
Yes.
Mayor Buck? I'm sorry, Mayor Bean.
Mayor Best, huh? That's what you said? Boy, he's got it all tonight. He's got it all, huh? All right, I wanted to talk about 9B. I discussed this with the manager and Mr. Nash. Mr. Nash says that he has about, well, he could come up and explain what he has going on. And I'd like to move some of the funds back into, well, he can explain what we need to do.
Good evening. We currently have 26 requests on our docket for street tree planting this year. It'll afford us 41 trees. It's the cost of $21,000. What I had suggested to the city manager and the mayor is that we take the remaining funds of that $50,000 and put it towards our street tree trimming because we sorely need to continue with that. We're a little behind with getting that going, and we have storm season coming up again.
So I would like to go ahead and leave the $25,000 in this pot, round it off, and put the other $25,000 into the next resolution that's coming up here
On 11B.
On 11B, and I guess I need a motion to do that.
Well,
Council?
can you want me to read the resolution for the consent item with the new
Yeah,
amount
with the
first?
new amount.
Okay.
That's how you want to do it, Councilman? Council? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
This is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Miami Springs, Florida, approving the issuance of a purchase order to Distributors, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $25,000 for citywide tree planting by utilizing Miami-Dade County contract number 1298-1/21-1, providing for authorization, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve 11B as read.
Second it.
Call a vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata?
Yes.
Councilman Bass?
Aye.
Councilman Mitchell?
Yes.
Councilman Petrolano?
Yes.
Mayor Bean?
Yes. We go to old business. We have none. We go to 11A, new business.
11A. This is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Miami Springs, Florida, approving a memorandum of, it shouldn't be an understanding, it's actually a memorandum of agreement with the Florida Division of Emergency Management to provide a mass emergency notification system for the city at no cost to the city, providing for authorization, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date. Let me just read into the record a memo that was prepared by Anna Hume.
Well, she's here to read it in herself.
You want me to read the memo? Or?
Well, she wants to. I think she got her makeup on to come here herself.
That was from earlier today.
Oh, okay.
I'm new at this, so do I read the recommendation or the discussion?
The recommendation.
Okay. Staff requests council approval for the execution of the attached memorandum of agreement with Florida Division of Emergency Management so that the city may participate in an Alert Florida program, which establishes a system of emergency communications with the residents and businesses. This program is fully funded. So it's really a no-brainer. If anybody knows what an Amber Alert is, it's similar to that. However, it's a phone call. So anyone that has a landline within the city of Miami Springs, we can create an automated phone call in case of an emergency pre, during, and post. When we did the sand distribution last year, if we had this in play, we could have notified everybody that has a landline. As of now, there's like 31,000 landlines. I don't know where they got that number from, which that's a lot. It includes businesses. So we will be able to better, I guess, distribute our information to the city. And it's, like I said, it's fully funded.
Okay.
So it's free.
Do you want to read
And
it?
also mention that residents have the ability to go in there and put in a cell phone number.
Correct.
Or the communication.
Yes, there's an
really
additional
important.
option where we
It
can
is.
add a link to our website, and if they want to put additional forms of communication, per se their email or their cell phone, they can go ahead and register it, and we can make those connections that way free. Well, actually, that's a little bit of a charge, I believe, which I'll look into that. But as of now, I'm just requesting for landline use of communication during emergencies.
Mayor?
Sure.
I think we need to find out, I would like us to find out how much the extra cost would be for cell phones. I think that's critical. The majority of people no longer have landlines, and if we really are using this as an emergency notification, we want to reach as many of our residents as possible. So the ability to put in, I know on here it says you can put in text messages, emails, like you said, or your cell phone, and
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. There is a miscommunication on my behalf.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It is free for the cell phone. Go ahead.
It's an opt-in for the cell phone.
Okay, that's what I thought I had read, but
Right,
then
it's an
I thought
opt-in,
Anna
yeah.
had said you have to pay for it. But on here we can put, my understanding from reading this is on our website we can say it's for landlines, but if you want to provide your cell phone number, you can.
Yes.
And there's no charge for that. That's wonderful.
Okay.
That's the other thing I have a question on from my reading of this. It looks like we cannot provide our own information. This is information, correct me if it's wrong, it's information that's coming from the emergency management, but it's not something we can use or we can use to provide our own messages.
We provide our own messages. It could be
Okay.
your voice, it could be anybody's voice, or it could be a robotic voice.
Okay.
It's our choice.
And Dan is more familiar with this because they use it in Doral, right?
Yeah.
In a few places. I mean, as trying to get the information out, cities are turning to this because it's free. Some cities have other services on top of that provide geo fences around areas so that when cell phones come in, and this technology is not here just yet to provide notifications, but this one right now uses phone calls to tap landlines and to tap cell phones. So it's possible this might expand to push notifications at some point, like an Amber Alert, but for free service, we'll take what we can get.
Yeah. Yeah, and a few cities are using it: Doral, Coral Gables, Miami Beach, and it's just growing vastly.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Everything okay?
Through the chair, so the opt-in is
Free.
part of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion to move the item, sir.
Second it.
Call the vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata?
Yes.
Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell?
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda?
Yes.
Mayor Bain?
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Thanks, Anna.
We go on to we go 11B, a resolution.
Yes. Okay. Let me read this with the
new number 75
numbers that we discussed. This is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Miami Springs, Florida, approving the issuance of a purchase order to Distributors Inc. in an amount not to exceed $75,000 for citywide tree trimming by utilizing Miami-Dade County contract number 1298-1/21-1, providing for authorization, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date. The breakdown will be that $50,000 will come from the final amount left in designated fund balance, and the other $25,000 will be transferred from the tree planting budget.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call the vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata?
Where's
Yes.
the memo for the,
Councilman Best?
Aye.
evening rental?
Councilwoman Mitchell?
Yes.
I thought I
Councilman
had one.
Petrolanda?
Yes.
Mayor Bain?
Yes, we go to this is 11C, recommendation to make the evening rental for aquatic multipurpose room permanent.
Yes, Mayor and Council. If you remember a few months ago, we passed this program, and we made it it was a pilot program that expired on April 30th of this year. And Omar is here, and he'd like to go ahead and make this a permanent program.
Omar, you want to speak to this, or is this? Do we need Omar to speak to this, or is this?
Well, perhaps, Mayor, if only to report the numbers of the trial
Okay.
period. Yeah.
You got it.
Good evening. The reality is that we haven't had anybody actually rent the facility for after-hours events. We've had maybe 2 or 3 inquiries about it, but the reality is that it's just people that have come in, they find that it's not exactly for the type of event they're looking for. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have it in place in case someone does request it. At least we have it in place. It doesn't hurt. We've talked about maybe doing another marketing initiative just to kind of push a little bit more. Now with Anna on board and Tammy on board, maybe we could do something. Maybe we could put in a pamphlet or in the Gazette or something. But the reality was that we really had maybe 2 or 3 people actually inquire about doing rentals late at the after hours like that. So, but it doesn't hurt to have it in case someone's interested. At least we already have it in place.
Mayor, I have a question. Now, would there be any cost just for having it in place, or no cost?
No, at all. It's already there. It's just a matter of it being approval. Since we did it as a pilot program, it expired, and it's just a matter of having your guys' approval to keep it as a fee in the fee schedule. That's all it is.
Through the chair, Omar, you say it was a pilot program. Did residents know that they could book rentals under this pilot program?
Well, that's the one thing me and Caitlin spoke about. We promoted it a little bit, but it wasn't like I don't think residents were getting the full word out that it's available.
Okay.
And I'm being honest. That's why I said, I think we need to do a marketing initiative. Now we have real good staff that can help us out with that. So I think doing that, we might be able to get more people involved. But at the same time, the few people that came in that we were able to speak to them, their concern was that it just wasn't I guess you could say a place for like a wedding or something like that. They just didn't feel it was the place they were looking for. But hey, that's just their opinion.
That said, you think this is a formidable program to pursue?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, it's just a matter of getting the word out, and someone might be interested in it, and if they are, then at least we have the fees in place and we have it ready to go, rather than if someone's interested and then we don't have the fees and we're not prepared, then we're back to square one.
And I'd like to remind council that we agreed it would be only no amplified music, only acoustical music. So should somebody rent it, there's no reason to expect that it'll bother the neighbors.
Right.
Good point.
So I'd like to put forward a motion that we extend it year-round.
I'll second that.
Call the vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata?
Yes.
Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell?
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda?
Yes.
Mayor Bay?
Yes, thank you, Omar.
Thanks, Omar.
Have a good evening. We go to 12A. This is a police presentation by Chief Guzman on speeding and traffic issues in the city to answer some of the questions from last meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
So at last council, there were several residents that came up and spoke about traffic concerns that they have. And I get the emails and the phone calls regarding traffic, and I know that you do too. So I wanted to bring you up to date on some of the things that we have been doing, some of the areas of concern that were brought up. And before I actually go into the presentation, I know that I just recently answered the question of our pole-mounted radar device that we have on Hunting Lodge. We've gotten comments like, Miami Springs police are dummies, they don't know what they're doing because it's broken, it's not flashing. Well, that machine serves 2 purposes. It does flash the speed, but we can turn that off. And I'll tell you why we did that in a minute. The other purpose it does, it gathers data. So we'll set it out there for a 2-week period, and 24 hours a day, it's running, and it's going to tell us, well, your highest concentration of violations is occurring between 9 in the morning and 10 in the morning. That way I don't have to guess when can I deploy my officers to be the most effective. Now, the reason I don't put it to flashing while we're gathering the data, a couple of reasons. In my experience in other areas where they have this, the people know it's out there and they spread it out, through social media. Hey, watch the radar device, and they purposely slow down. Or on the other end, we have some individuals, they try to see how high they can get that thing to flash. So I'd rather gather the data right now And that's what we've done in some of the areas that I'm going to be talking about here, and show you what the results are. We usually deploy that machine out there for about 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Okay. So let's see here. 500 block of South Royal Point Siena. That's the aerial picture. The yellow indicator is where we put it. Now, we started with this device last year, and we deployed it there for about 10, 11 days. And in that time period, a total of, let me see here. You have 16,895 vehicles that drove through there. The average speed, the speed limit there is 35 miles an hour. Average speed of the vehicles, 34.4 miles an hour. Average speed when vehicles were going over the speed limit, 40.5. So 57.8, almost 58% of the vehicles were actually going under the speed limit. Now, we do have about 42% going over, but again, it's going over for about 5 miles an hour. We do have about 6% of vehicles going 10 plus, and we do have one recorded vehicle supposedly going 90 miles an hour. The next one is just a color pie chart of the same information I provided to you. Again, 57.8, almost 58% of the cars are actually going under the speed limit. Ludlam Drive, yellow indicator where we put it. We had it there from April 21st to May 7th of last year, 11,820 vehicles, about 34.9, almost 35%. I'm sorry, average speed was 30.8 miles per hour. The speed limit is 30 miles an hour. When they are going over the speed limit, it's just about 35 miles per hour. Percentage of vehicles, 47% actually going under the speed limit, 52% over the speed limit. About 5% of the vehicles going 10 miles plus over the speed limit, and one vehicle 87 miles an hour. Yeah, possibly. And here again, the pie chart. One of the areas that was brought to our attention during the last council meeting was the Flagler Drive. Again, the yellow indicates where we had the pole-mounted radar. 2,000 vehicles from November 28th to December 13th. Average speed of the vehicles, of those 2,000 vehicles, is 25.3 miles an hour. So we have 82% of those 2,000 vehicles were actually going under the speed limit. When they were going over the speed limit, 33.7. So we have about 17% of the vehicles that were going over the speed limit. 10 plus vehicles were 10 miles over the speed limit. I'm sorry, 14 vehicles going 10 miles over the speed limit. The maximum recorded was 53 miles per hour. Again, the pie chart. So the majority of the vehicles there on Flagler Drive are going under the speed limit. South Drive. From March 27th to April 23rd, 2018, 15,394 vehicles. Speed limit is 30 miles an hour. The average speed of the vehicles going through there are 29.9 miles an hour. So you have 52.7% of the vehicles are actually going under the speed limit. When they are going over the speed limit, it's almost 35 miles an hour, or 47.3% of those vehicles are going about 5 miles over the speed limit. Vehicles going 10 plus miles over the speed limit, 678, or 4%. And we do have one recorded vehicle there, 98 miles an hour.
Can I ask you a question on them ones that are going 90 and is there a time on that?
I don't have that with me, but we can pull that.
You have a time, huh?
I would think you have a time. I don't have it in this report,
Okay.
but I can pull the time. And again,
It can't possibly be police officers going on a call.
if I have a police officer going 98 miles an hour on a call, I'm going to have a serious talk with that officer.
Okay, I just wondering.
That is reckless.
Okay.
You know, we have to follow certain laws and guidelines. Just because we're running an emergency signal, lights and sirens, doesn't mean we can go that fast, or that we can just blow through a stop sign or blow through a light.
Gotcha.
You have to come to a stop, make sure that all traffic stops, and then proceed through the intersection. Because think about it this way: you're the police officer on the other end that needs emergency assistance. You're in a knockdown, drag-out fight. You ask for that emergency assistance, and I'm going that fast, and I get into a car accident.
And you're done.
I hurt somebody, I hurt myself, and what about you? Where's the help that you needed? I'm no good to you. Okay? Hunting lodge is the next one. Again, the yellow indicators where we posted the pole-mounted radar device. We had it there from April 26th to May 9th, 7,000 vehicles. Average speed, 30.1 miles an hour. When they were going over the speed limit, 34.5. So you have 52% of the vehicles actually going under the speed limit, 47% going maybe 5 miles over the speed limit, about 4% vehicles going 10 plus, and one vehicle at 72 miles an hour. Again, the pie chart indicating the same thing. Now we did a comparison, 2016 to 2017 full years, a full year of comparison. The first column, violations, that is moving violations, speeding, running red lights, running stop signs, that sort of thing. So in 2016, the department wrote just shy of 3,000 tickets. 635 citations, that's parking citations. Arrests, 268. Traffic stops, 1,718. Calls for service, 15,946. Now look at 2017. Violations, again, moving violations, traffic tickets for speeding, running red lights, etc. 4,703. Parking citations went down a little bit, but this is something that I was really surprised at. Arrests, 445. Why am I surprised? Because when you have that high of an arrest, other areas are going to go dramatically low. Because there are simple trespassing arrests that doesn't take long to fill out the paperwork and transport the individual, but then there's complicated arrests. Reports involved, evidence involved, and things of that nature. So that takes time. So you would think that the violations, the parking, the traffic tickets would go down. But it shows you that the officers are out there doing their jobs. And look at the calls for service from 2016 to 2017. Okay? That is a almost 40% jump in calls for service. So we have from 2016 to 2017, we've had a 57% increase in traffic citations, moving violations. A total of 124% increase in traffic stops. So that means they stop a vehicle for whatever reason. They don't necessarily write a summons. Maybe it's a suspicious car. Maybe they're giving them a warning. Maybe they're, it's a broken down vehicle and they're there to assist. And then we also have, as you can see, 66% increase in arrests from 2016 to 2017. I took the first 3 months of each year. 2016, 1,150 violations, 134 citations, 103 arrests, 536 traffic stops, 4,111 calls for service in 2016. 2017, the first 3 months, 1,287 violations, 157 citations, 107 arrests, 992 traffic stops, 6,241 calls for service. And then the first 3 months of 2018, 1,322 violations, 88 citations, 109 arrests, 1,040 traffic stops, 4,919. With the exception of calls for service in 2017, you can see that the first 3 months of 2018, we're above the last couple of years of first 3 months. So just to summarize, 57% increase in traffic citations, 124% increase in traffic stops, 66% increase in arrests. One thing that I didn't add here, the incoming bridge, on an average day from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., you have between 5,000 and 5,500 vehicles coming into Miami Springs just through the incoming bridge. So that's the number of cars that are coming in just on that area. Police budget from 2016 to 2017 went from 6.2 to 6.4. Our average response time went from 3 minutes 16 seconds to 3 minutes and 8 seconds, which, by the way, we are way below the national average. Call, with all due respect, they're a big agency, they have a big area to cover. Call Miami-Dade Police on a routine traffic accident and see how long it takes you for them to respond. Or call them for processing that somebody just broke into your house, and you'll be lucky, very lucky, if they get to you that day. Okay. We've had, as I mentioned before, almost 40% increase in calls for service. We are budgeted for 43 police officers, or 3 officers per 1,000 residents. That number has not changed in 30 years. And just by the fact of the number of vehicles coming into the city, the number of hotel rooms that are going to be going online and the hotels that are coming up, that's an increase. Although it's a transitory population, that's an increase in calls that we're going to be facing. Doral, by example, has 1.9 officers per 1,000 residents, Hialeah 1.2. With the swearing in of Officer Collins and Officer Despian today, we are fully staffed. Now, obviously, they're in a training phase. So it's going to be a couple of months before they are cut loose and they're on their own and they actually count towards staffing. Our police budget represents about 41% of the general budget, and the budget has increased, police budget has increased about 12% over the last 5 years. Some of the things that we have been doing to address traffic, we are part of the Department of Transportation's Community Traffic Safety Teams. What is that? Several municipalities are part of this. And what it means is that usually once a month, officers from Miami, Miami Springs, Hialeah, Doral, whatever departments are part of this, will be dispatched to one of the municipalities that participates. And for example, we did it here this last March. We started it last year, where we had close to 20 officers from all these different agencies, and in a 3-hour period, they wrote about 200 traffic citations. Unfortunately, we can't have them here every day. So since there are so many municipalities participating, we get to have them help us about twice a year. But then in turn, we help other agencies with the same thing. But we're starting this week with what I call an informal traffic unit. We don't have the luxury of having the manpower to have a committed traffic unit other than our motorcycle officers. But what we're doing through staffing, and we project it out so it doesn't affect the trainings and manpower on the street. We're bringing in 8 officers, our own department, no overtime. We've adjusted shifts and so on. We give them plenty of notice. These are individuals that are very traffic oriented, that are radar certified. So we're going to start doing that twice a month, where we just attack these heavy traffic problem areas. I'm also purchasing additional radar units, and I'm seriously looking, and I've talked to the manager about that, with this next coming budget, proposing increasing our staffing by at least 2 officers. And depending on how the hotels are going and so forth, projecting ahead for the next several years to increasing the staffing of the department.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I have a question. Chief, on these poll data that you have here, is this a complete data? Do you shorten it up because they're too long, or all the data is here, correct?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Okay. See, what I find kind of odd is something what the counselor alluded to, which is in every scenario, you have just one car that's doing like 90, 80. Why not 2? Why not 0? They all have just one car. It's the same guy.
I don't think I can answer that fully. When I first looked at that, I was wondering if maybe it was just something out of the ordinary. But is it possible that we have one car? Maybe it is the same individual that knows where these things are, and as I mentioned earlier, he's trying to beat his own record. I don't know. I can't really answer that question.
Because it's always one number that's skewed.
I'll be honest with you. I'm glad it's just one. If it was like 10, 15, or 20, then I'd be really worried.
Okay.
So I wish I could give you a better answer to that.
Mm-hmm. Just want to thank you that you're putting so much emphasis on this, because we hear it. We all hear it here from our residents.
Sure.
And I was reached out regarding the sign on Hunting Lodge.
Right.
And I want to thank you, because when I called her back, the resident, told me that you were wonderful. You explained everything to her, and she was satisfied with your explanation. And she knows you're doing everything you can to get a grip on the speeders.
As a matter of fact, there was a gentleman at the clock dedication today, and I apologize, his name skips my mind, but he said that I have to apologize to you. And I go, why? He says, when I saw those numbers, because we put this information out, he says, I never realized the number of cars that are coming into the city. I never realized that. So.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Yes.
I wanted to thank you. This is really a lot of information, and it's very interesting. And I would like, we have this on our website, or are we
Yes, we
planning
put it
to?
out. We did.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
I think this is wonderful for the residents to realize all the work that you're doing. What I wanted to mention to the council is, and it's not obviously you're doing everything and nothing has changed. It's not that your officers are putting any less attention toward speeding. It shows that, you know, it's been pretty consistent, your efforts, and obviously you have a lot of other things that you have to have your officers dedicate their time to. But what I wanted to mention to the council is that if you look at, say, the 500 block of South Royal Poinciana, even though, and I realize it's 16,000 vehicles, almost 17,000 vehicles in a 2-week period, even though only 6% of the vehicles were going 10 over, that's over 1,000 vehicles. In
Right.
2 weeks, we had over 1,000 vehicles going 10. You know, it sounds it's only 6%, but 6% of 16, almost 17,000 is still 1,000 vehicles over a 2-week period going 10 miles over that.
Right.
And then the other one too is if you look at the Ludlam Drive, again, it's almost 12,000 vehicles in that period of time, which is 600 and something vehicles were going 10 over. That's a lot of vehicles going 10 over. So what I'd like to suggest that we consider is, obviously we can't drain the police department's time. I don't think so anymore on speeding than you're already than the time you're devoting to it. But perhaps some traffic calming, looking into some sort of traffic calming with Public Works or something for these streets that, you know, are clearly, that's a large number of vehicles that are going 10 miles or over the speed limit.
There's one other thing I'd like to add that I failed to mention at the beginning. I've been doing this now for almost 38 years, and Officer Cates is here. He's a veteran of the department. He can attest to that. I have never seen so many requirements of us as a law enforcement body, and I'm not just saying Miami Springs. I'm saying law enforcement in general. The documentation for an arrest is different and much more detailed. Training, mandatory training, is required for state certification. So we are being pulled in all different directions to meet all these requirements. And I have to say that not only am I impressed, but I'm very proud of the officers. And I know somebody mentioned at the last meeting that young officers, they have exemplary training officers, like Sergeant Fetters, who's just promoted. They are hungry. They want to go out. They want to do their job, and they are doing an excellent job, and I'm very proud of them.
Anything else?
I have a question, just for me to know, to see that I'm really understanding this. On this last chart where you list the violations and the citations, the numbers there.
Yes.
One before page one before the last page. So when I look at 2018 and I see January, February, March, there were 1,322 violations,
Yes.
yet 88 citations. What do you attribute the fact that it's the highest number of violations, yet the lowest number of citations given
Well,
out?
those are parking. Citations are parking citations.
Oh, those are
Right,
parking.
right.
Okay.
So the violations are the moving.
The violations are the ones that are moving, that there's
Speeding,
been tickets.
red lights, stop signs, that sort of thing. Right.
Okay.
Citations are parking.
Right. Okay. So now I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Chief, thanks for being here tonight, and thanks for an excellent report.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for communications, for putting that out to the people so the folks can see this. I know that all of us are pretty well tired of hearing the speeding and stuff, and this kind of allays a lot of the fears in my mind anyway. And what I felt was particularly interesting was the way you attacked it in terms of setting up the new squad that will go out and target the areas that you have identified. That's utilization of a study that is meaningful, and certainly should allay the fears of anybody living in those areas. That you guys are on top of this.
Well,
I thank you. I thank you for that, and the department, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? I just want, the purpose of doing this is to present these facts to the people, to the resident, so that, it makes it easier to represent what a job you guys are doing. So that's why this is here tonight.
Sure.
And somehow, though, I don't know if this can be put in the paper, also in the paper, as far as just on the internet, as far as especially this one here for 2016, 17, and 18, a report. Maybe.
Yeah,
The Gazette, you mean?
Yeah.
We did put it in the Gazette a couple of weeks ago.
Did you?
Now.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll put it out on our webpage again.
Yeah, put it out as much
Yes,
as you
it's
can,
good.
and I know where I'm going to give a couple of these too. If you can make me a few more, I
Sure.
got a few people I could give them to them. Personally hand them to them.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you,
very
Chief.
much. Not yet.
Oh.
We're not there yet. Relax. We're not there yet. Just relax. All right, we go to a request by Mayor Bain to relocate the plaque at the Stafford Park Recreation Center. Carl Bithorn's here, who was very instrumental in this back in the day. But in 1978, tragedy occurred. It affected both Miami Springs and Virginia Gardens. Both communities experienced some mixed emotions during the soccer season. And long story short, I've read it. A 12 and under soccer team went to play in the state championship. And on their way back, there were two coached by the Wall of Fame Tony Bray, Steve Bray, and Fred Giuliano. Well, on their way home, the two individuals here, Brian Smith and Chris Dunning, they got an accident on 27. 27, a drunk driver hit him, and they both, the whole car perished, not just the two children, correct?
Brian Smith,
Both his parents? 4 people?
They weren't actually on the under 12 team.
But they were going to watch the game. Okay, they were good athletes and good kids. As a matter of fact, talking about my brother Mark, he was playing basketball with Chris Dunning the night before it happened. Anyway, in their honor, they put a memorial plaque over there at the old restroom at East Drive. And my Carl come talk to me, and my consideration was so that people could see it and understand it to be moved back over here on the new community center where the plaques are, and clean it up real nice, and people could pay their respects, and the people that know this happened, that it's there. So I'm requesting that if we can move that plaque over to there and get it cleaned up and placed there, so that these young gentlemen are be honored in the state instead of being over there by a dilapidated situation that's over there on East Drive.
Mayor, if I may say something regarding that, because the same day that email came in, I was right in front of the plaque. Now, that plaque is not by the bathroom. That plaque is right at the Historical Society building.
Yeah,
right
that was the bathroom.
That was the bathroom.
That was
but
the
it's not a
bathroom.
bathroom now.
Yeah, but that was the bathroom.
Right. I think it should stay there, or maybe get a second one and place it there, because that's going to be the Historical Society. This is something that happened in our community and historical. So, and by the way, I have kind of good news. I think we're going to be opening up the museum by August. Some things that's happening and things are speeding up. So pretty soon, I think we're going to have the museum open. So I'm not sure if moving is a good. I'm not against it. I'm just proposing that we leave it there, or if not, if you want to move that one, which is the original one, maybe we can put another one in the museum to keep the memory alive.
Well, my thought was, and with Carl's suggestion was it would behoove us to put it where the athletics are done, and where the kids that can know a little history of what the situation was. It was to get it into the mainstream of where basketball's played, where all the different things that are played at the community center, to move it there. So that was our thought, and that's what his thought was. Come up and talk, Carl. You got time to talk. You look nice today, Carl.
just getting off, are we?
I would have been here early, but I locked my keys in my truck.
An honest man.
Old age is getting to me. Now, the reason, as you know, you don't own that park. You don't own that building. It's on Dade County Public Works. So this is dear. This is something dear to my heart. I was the only one that coached the 2 kids that perished. They were only 10 years old, so I had them for 3 years, both of them. So I'd just like to see it where, I know the community center belongs to the city. It's not going anywhere. Who knows in that building there's going to, Dade County come in one day and say that you guys can't use this facility anymore. And then, let's put it where it's going to be permanent, and we don't have to worry about that. That was my biggest concern.
Carl, we're spending a lot of money to make the Historical Society there. So it's not like we're going to lose it, but if that's what you want, I'd like to make a motion that we move it.
I get a second?
You have a second, sir. Or
call a vote, please.
Vice Mayor Zapata?
Yes.
Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda.
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes.
Through the chair, for discussion, sir, if I might. Well, Councilman Petrolanda's concern or thought relative to it being part of the historical, which it is, it's more in the venue of recreation, and I think what we just voted on was appropriately done. And again, we're under lease obligation for the area that it currently sits at, and we would be eliminating that problem down the road and collectively putting everything under one umbrella of recreational activity by moving it. So I think we did the right thing.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, that's the last agenda item. All the people can go home now.
Why?
All right, we have anything from the city attorneys?
Just two brief comments, Mayor and Council. Something tied into what the chief said with regards to impact from the expanding presence of hotels in our community. In light of conversations with council and with staff, I began having conversations with some of the neighbors of some of the neighboring cities, the mayors, and some of the larger cities, including Miami, about creating a coalition to target the issue of the hotel bed tax. Potentially in this next legislative session, which would then potentially open up funds for the city for additional police and whatnot. So that's a work in progress, and I think in the foreseeable future we could see if the cities are disposed to it, a meeting amongst all the cities and crafting some legislation and bringing it for everybody to support it and move it in Tallahassee.
Thanks.
Secondly, we've had some outreach from some of the property owners, including the Santanas along what effectively we're calling the Miami Springs Gateway there on Curtis Parkway. And next meeting in May, we're going to bring forward, this is a joint effort between our office and Planning and Zoning and the City Manager's office, some proposals on policy sides that can bring about some enhancements in the area. I just want to put that on your radar before bringing it up cold. That's all we've got.
Thanks for giving my statement at the end of my time.
Supposed to be mind readers.
The first one, you know. All right, Manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council. Read a little memo that the city clerk provided to us today. The second meeting in May falls on Monday, May 28th, which is Memorial Day. In observation of the national holiday, staff is requesting that the city council move the meeting to Tuesday, May 29th, or a date most suitable for council.
So we're going to move the meeting to Tuesday.
Tuesday, May 29th.
Is that okay, Tom? Okay. Gee, thanks. Do we have a motion to move the meeting from Memorial Day to the Tuesday after Memorial Day?
Motion to move per the manager's request.
Second.
Call a vote.
Vice Mayor Zapata.
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell.
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda.
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Anything else, sir?
One more thing. Remember Thursday, May 17th, 4:30 p.m. on Canal Street. We're going to be doing the ribbon cutting for the new shuttle and the new shuttle bus service with the new schedule, and we'll have some nice new some of these. Yeah, I think this is part of, yeah. We'll be handing these out that day, so hope to see you all there. That's all I have.
When was that?
Thursday, May 17th at 4:30 p.m.
4:30 p.m.?
4:30 p.m.
Why so early? Why 4:30? Why can't we have it like this 5 o'clock, 5:30, like we did today?
Because I guess
would it be easier for everybody to be a little later on?
We have some elected officials coming too, and I guess we
just tell them we're going to do it a little bit later.
Or we can just be here for 4:30 and kind of, play with it.
Kind of move it back.
Yeah. I mean, all the
we don't
invitations are out.
Well, I'll tell you what the problem. One of the things we want to do is whoever wants to go on the shuttle, we're going to take them on the route to the metro station in Hialeah and back. And I don't want to get caught in rush hour, so that's why we decided to do it at 4:30. But if you want to try at 5 and get
the invitations are out at 5, so I mean we can always kind of play with 4:15, 4:45.
Well, here you put 4:30 and people show up at 5.
Who's going to ride on the city council to ride to Hialeah and come back?
I will.
I will.
I will.
In honor of Councilman Petrolanda's work at getting this wonderful
Yes.
show.
And then what are you guys gonna do? Go to the casino, play a little bit, and come
Okay.
back?
Just go there.
That's what it is all about.
It's the first ride of the new route.
Okay.
The dignitaries should
All right,
be.
4:30. 4:30 it is. 4:30.
The inaugural run.
Thank you.
There you go.
So Bob, I mean,
4:30.
Councilman Bessie's on board too.
We'll
No, we're
see.
gonna do it 4:30.
Yeah, 4:30.
No, riding on the thing. On the
You
show.
guys could ride on
So,
it. I
so's
ain't
the mayor.
riding on
The
it.
mayor's on board too.
The mayor's on.
I'm not riding on that
Yeah,
thing.
come on
You
now.
gotta be
It's-
kidding.
He'll ride.
I'll get an orange bike
He'll
first.
ride. Spin it. Spin it.
All right, here we go.
Here we
Mayor,
go.
how
Here we
about
go. I'm
if we
going
let-
first. I'm going first this time.
You can't do that.
Mayor.
Yeah, I
It's against
can.
charter. It's against charter.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Tammy.
Is there anything I shouldn't mention?
Go ahead. Go. We'll find out.
516, we have Representative Diaz-Ballard's office coming here to the council chambers at 11 o'clock, which is the monthly visit. Again, the 17th is the shuttle ribbon cutting at 4:30 on Canal Street. Also, we have free to FEMA. There's a FEMA disasters training that's free to the residents. It's a 3-day training. 9300 Northwest 41st Street in Doral. That's going to be May 17th from 6 to 9 p.m. May 19th from 8:30 to 6 p.m. and May 20th from 8:30 to 6 p.m. On the 19th also, we have the Board Game Society at the Community Center at noon. On the 22nd, we have the Glenn Curtis birthday celebration at the Curtis Mansion at 7 p.m. On the 25th, we have the Pelican Playhouse play, the Servant of Two Masters at 7:30 p.m. at the theater. We also have the summer pool party for 2018 on Sunday, May 27th from 12 to 5 p.m. And then we have the Memorial Day celebration on Memorial Day at 10 a.m. That'll be all.
That's it?
That's it.
Boy, it's enough. Well, I thought tonight with the ceremony for Mr. Cavalier's clock was fantastic, and it
Well
was
attended.
and it was very well attended. We had a lot of people there, and it was neat, and you can see that it was touching for the family what happened, and it goes to show you, for, as I said, how many people came there to honor the guy, and the clock was beautiful, and it was really nice that when we pulled the cover off, it had the right time. That was that was pretty good.
I thought Laz was going to have to set it
Pretty
when he
good.
was up on that high lift there.
Yeah. I want to thank the manager and Anna for researching for that last year when we had the hurricane, researching to have that I asked them to look if there's any kind of program. Earlier on when my mayorship, we had that robocall through the police department. I used to make them announcements by phone, but it's nice that to have Anna to have the time to look for them things for us, and she just she's gung ho, and so is Tammy Key, and they're really an asset to this city.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And Dan had to bring up, but Dan and I discussed that hotel situation. It's like, you could have said the mayor and I were discussing this hotel situation with the manager to go ahead and try to get all these cities involved in this charge which comes off of, Miss Mitchell here earlier on talking about trying to get a part of the bed tax money. We're not going to get it from the county. We're going to have to do something up top of that with us. And Commissioner Sosa, when the manager and I went down there, I forgot to tell Jaime that we went there, but the manager and I went down to see Commissioner Sosa, and she says there's a way maybe even that we can do another opportunity. I got to talk to the attorney of just asking the hotels some kind of a situation where it could be structured that they have to support us with some police officers coming in. So there's things that are in the works. I want to thank everybody that came to the clock and everything, and the good work that the city did. The manager, assistant manager, and next time we got to have Erica remember that when there's a holiday on the council meeting, to make sure that she has it on the agenda to let us know to change the agenda. Yeah, this morning I called her this morning and told her, hey, there's no change on the agenda. And she says, things are just slipping by so fast, so fast.
For the record, I did talk to Tom Nash about through the manager's permission about the $25,000 and everything. So I think that's it. I went fishing this weekend, caught a lot of fish, got sore knees from it. It's so nice to see Tom Curtis in the front room.
Yes.
Makes my day,
that's
that
right.
face.
That's right.
Let's go. We'll go with Bob. Councilman Best first.
He was sitting in the third row earlier. I didn't know it. Yeah. That was he second. Yeah. A couple things, Mayor. Thanks. I was pleased that Brian Avila was present here tonight in Chambers, and certainly the amount of money that was forwarded for the seniors food program is greatly appreciated. And as the mayor said at the time, now if we can get about $3 more million, we'd be in tall cotton. But
well,
we're going to work at that.
They got somewhere to eat, so
Absolutely.
we got to get the building.
Got to get them
now.
the building now. That's it. That's right. But I appreciate Brian being here tonight. I do. The assistant manager mentioned the Memorial Day. I'll be chairing that again this year at 10 o'clock at the War Memorial on Curtis Parkway. I mentioned earlier the Optimist Club had recently sponsored, and I think it was an attempt to start, to put a fresh start on this oratorical contest that the Optimists do nationally every year. So I was very pleased that I was asked to look at the three, and we saw the three of them that were the winners here in front of us tonight. That's a great program, and I hats off to the village, to the Optimists, and to Carl for putting it together. And I think that's a wonderful thing. Thank you. And finally, I had the recent opportunity, as some of you or all of you or none of you maybe know, the high school baseball team this year ended up with a yearly record, with a season record of 19-6. I don't recall that for the varsity men's baseball team. It's in memory, I can't remember. They knocked off 2 district opponents Tuesday and Thursday of a week ago, and then this past Tuesday they made regionals, and they played the first the semifinals of the not the semifinals, the quarterfinals of the regionals against Archbishop McCarthy from Broward County. The Florida High School Athletic Association, along with the athletic department at Miami Springs Senior High, asked me to announce those games, and I said, well, this is something I've never done before, but I've always loved baseball, and I've always liked that aspect of. And what was neat about this was that you did the public service announcements, introduced the lineups, but you could enter a little commentary in there too. For instance, batting in the second position, number 20, and you go, and here's the pitch, chopped foul, strike one. You could do this, so it was like you don't ever see that, because you don't need to be telling people what they're looking at already, being a broadcast journalist, not a television, but radio-wise. So it was a challenge, and by the time I got to the third one, I finally got it down pretty good, which was the regionals. But the Springs lost to Archbishop McCarthy 8-3, having won the other 2 games against Hialeah, Miami Lakes, and Goldman. So I think that's wonderful, and a credit to the program that they got as far as they did this year. Hopefully they'll do better next year. Thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilwoman Mitchell.
Okay. Let's see. First of all, I wanted to thank Representative Avila for the check for our seniors. That's greatly appreciated. I'm very excited about the bed tax. I think there's no city in Miami-Dade County that's more entitled to get more from that bed tax one way or another than we are.
Well, I think they all.
So anything we can do on that is just wonderful. And thank you, Mayor, and Dan and everyone that's working for that. The emergency management seminar, I was wondering, could we put flyers at the rec center? I think this is the kind of thing that probably young families might be interested, but they don't necessarily go to our website to look for this. Would it be possible just to put it on a flyer? I know in our web, at the rec center, we have flyers on a whole bunch of events and stuff, and if we can get some there, perhaps some of the younger families might be interested in attending that training. Today was the Women's Club Installation Banquet, their annual installation banquet, and it was a wonderful event, and we're really, I keep saying this, but we're so blessed at the city to have so many great civic organizations like the Women's Club, the Rotary Club, the Optimist Club. I mean, they're just, and there's many more that do so much for our community.
Lions Club.
The Lions Club, absolutely, and they provide.
Rotary,
just,
I think. Did she say
I
Rotary?
said Rotary.
Okay. I don't want her to miss
But
like.
no, I agree. If there's anything else, please, Mayor, because they're all provide such a fiber of support for our community and strengthen it. And what I wanted to say with the Women's Club is that I wanted to thank Chris Hyde. He is a Women's Club member. He joined the Women's Club a few years ago or last year, and he attends a lot of the functions. He was there today for the luncheon. He had to leave early because he was on lunch, but it's just he's very supportive of the Women's Club, and he does it from representing the city, all of us. So I really appreciate that. I wanted to, at the past meeting, we voted to ask our city manager to look into getting a permitting for the boat ramp area. And I just wanted to mention that this past weekend, Ken Wild, one of the residents of Miami Springs, posted on Facebook, and it's on the Miami Springs community webpage, two beautiful manatees just swimming around on the river, which has gotten so many views. And if you just watch it, and from looking at the comments on Facebook, evidently they come and go. These two manatees are there quite often, so that was just really exciting. And the last thing is a fishtail. You say you caught a lot of fish, but since none of us are the beneficiaries of it, I would say that's a fishtail.
But you want to know something? She blew it. Because when that dolphin comes in, I give her.
You've been saying that for. I've been on this council a year. You keep telling me you're going to.
Well,
get
I have a
fresh
big
fish.
family to feed first.
Oh.
Yeah, you got Larry, Glenn, Mark, John. Yeah, I got to feed them first.
Tail.
Well, they fish too, though.
Okay, she's calling my bluff, right?
It's been a year.
Okay, you're gonna get
And we
some.
still don't have fresh
You're gonna
fish.
get more than you asked for. I'll tell you that.
Please clean
This
it.
is war.
Please clean
oh,
it.
that's it. Now clean it. See, she just blew it. See, I was gonna hand her them. I'm gonna hand them to her. We'll see what happens this weekend.
Okay.
All right. Anything from Councilwoman, Vice Mayor Zapata? Sorry, Vice Mayor.
So I also want to thank Representative Avila, basically because that's so important, that funding. There are so many seniors that depend on that every day, and if you all ever have an opportunity to go during that lunch hour and see just how many of them are there, it makes a big difference. So I'm thankful to him and Commissioner Sosa for the support they give us with the senior center, and the efforts, the progress we've made with that.
Fishtail.
I also want to announce. What do you say?
She said a fishtail. I just can't believe it.
Oh,
I'll be too short of fish.
Stop. So I also want to announce that the Rotary just issued scholarships to, I want to say, I don't know the exact number, 18, right? I'm part of the Rotary, and I think that was phenomenal what they did. 18 high school students from Miami Springs Senior, and they all came Wednesday to the lunch, and they were all honored, and the picture was in the paper. So, we have organizations in this community that do really meaningful work and give back to our community. I'm also proud to say that I was inducted as a Lions Club member this past week, and Bob Best was there to speak that night, so that was really nice. And also, just let everyone know that May 20th, there's going to be a luncheon there. It is, I believe, the 12th annual luncheon, and I know that was published in the Gazette as well, for an organization it's a nonprofit that's run by a local person here who has a sister who's a nun and does work in Colombia with children in the countryside who otherwise had more guns than they had books. And she's done phenomenal work. She was recognized with a Peace Prize in Colombia. So there's tickets on sale for $12, and it goes to that foundation, and it goes to very needy family and children. So I'm going to be there, and would love to see all of you there.
What was the date on that?
May 20th. Yeah, I believe it's on a Sunday. Yeah, the 20th. It's in the paper. You put it in the. There's an ad in the paper for it in the connections. In the connections section of the River Cities Gazette, you will find the information.
And Councilman Petrolano?
First of all, I do want to say that the mayor does come through. He has provided deer meat to my family leftovers from his family, but nevertheless, he does come through.
Innocent deer meat?
Innocent.
Venison. It's called
Oh,
venison.
venison. Okay. I'm sorry.
Bambi meat.
Family meat. Well, but he does come through, and
I will come through.
he will. Well, I don't know about you. You messed it up already. So.
No, she didn't.
I
Put
come
them on
through.
order. Put them on.
All right. The other thing that I wanted to say, William, I'm not sure what is it that you need from us up here from our discussion earlier regarding the trolley. So I'm going to report a little bit, and then you follow up with what is it that you need, what kind of consensus you need from us. Now, I have good news and bad news regarding the second trolley. I have not been able to find the funding to add the second trolley to come through 36th Street and go into the airport. That's always been my vision. I'm still working on getting that money, but nevertheless, I found a way of getting our residents into the airport if we all approve it. Correct, William? All right. So this is the route is already set. We just hope with your guidance and your approval, add one more stop, and it's going to be at the EB Hotel. From there, the residents are going to be able to get off our trolley, and then they have agreed. I spoke to the owner. I want to thank Mauricio and Eric for buying into my idea, where they're going to take them into the airport and bring them back to the EB Hotel, and then they get back on our shuttle and do whatever they need to do. Okay. Now, what is it that you need from us? If that's okay, or
Well, right now I'm waiting for Eric to, remember the last time we met, he was
Right.
going to check with his insurance
Insurance.
company
Right.
to make sure that their shuttle covers people that are not registered
Exactly.
hotel guests. So I'm waiting for him to get back on that. Once he says okay, then I'll prepare the plan and bring it to council, and we can discuss it then. One of the things they're interested in is not just getting our residents to the airport, is having a way for the shuttle to stop there so that their guests
Can move
can
around.
get on our shuttle and come into the city.
Right, move around our
Go
city.
either to Milam's, to the golf course, and
That's
things
a
of that
win-win.
nature.
To our restaurants.
it's not going to cost us anything. There will, if the insurance, I don't foresee any problems with the insurance. Now, to expedite things, let's hypothetically, they say there, and I can't see them saying no. The insurance company says everything is okay. Do you need some kind of consensus for us so we can move
No, I
ahead?
just bring the plan because all it
That's gonna take
involves
2
is
weeks.
right now our shuttle stops, I believe, 2 blocks away. It would just be a matter of changing the route to go another 2 blocks and pass by the EB Hotel and then come up again.
Right. And drop off folks there, then they get on their shuttle, they go into the airport, and then whoever needs to come back, they will come back in their shuttle, and then we pick them up. Now, I think the issue was that you wanted to bring it to council because you wanted us to approve that last stop, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Because it's going
so-
to change, basically it's going to change the.
A little
shuttle.
bit. It's going
Right.
to, like you said earlier, it's going
Right.
to change only a few blocks, but
Right.
I want to expedite things. I don't want to wait into later on, because that's going to be 2 weeks from now. And I know when we spoke, you said that we want to try this new route before we add that
Right.
1 week.
Right.
So that if that week works, then we can start stopping over there and start taking folks into the airport hotel. So I guess my request is are you all okay with having that extra stop at the EB Hotel so they can take folks into
Thank
the
you, Councilman, for
Yes.
arranging, working on this. I know, I think that's an amazing accomplishment for our city.
I've been working really hard at
I
it
know.
with the help of William and all the staff. I know I haven't given you too much information because of the sunshine issue, but I know you all supporting me and supporting the whole idea.
Absolutely. And it
this is our
brings
group thing.
It brings people from the hotels, allows them to come to our downtown and visit our shops and restaurants, you know, which we want visitors to visit our businesses.
The
And
other
it's-
thing is that, remember, the new stop, the new loop, we were going to be taking residents into Hialeah, right to the pharmacy, the CVS. We don't have a pharmacy here anymore. So we're going to be stopping there real quick and then moving on to the Palm Avenue station and then coming back and picking the folks up and bringing them back into our city. So that's an extra stop for the older folks that need to go to the pharmacy. They can take advantage of free ride. So you have your consensus, I guess, William. All right.
Okay.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. You got it. Okay. This meeting is adjourned.
Nice job, Bill.
Had a good time till the end. Fishtail.
Well, I don't know.
You're gonna get it. I'm gonna. You know
I-
what?
I
I'm gonna
love
flay
fresh
her.
fish.
I'm gonna
You
flay
want
her
your
a few peacock bass and tell her it's dolphin. That's what I'm
You
gonna-
know what?
Okay.